How many teens will be lost before we act? Far too many teens have ruined or even lost their lives because of the untreated mental illnesses. These brain illnesses are not anyone's fault. There are ways to help teens get well. It is a tragedy for teens to suffer when they could get help. Six 6,000 teens in Fresno County have been diagnosed with major depression.
Come in. Hey Priscilla, what's going on?
Hey Leanne.
How you doing?
Something terrible happened yesterday.
Sit down here and let's talk about it. What happened?
Eric jumped into the lake yesterday and he's in a coma and I don't know what to do.
How does that make you feel?
I'm a bit confused. Eric's been really to himself lately and I don't know about his dad and all, but just a little. He would never tell me what really went on at home.
Well, what was going on? What do you know?
His dad lost his job and since then he's been violent towards Eric.
That's very stressful. A lot of times a person will keep all those feelings inside and they get desperate to get out of the pain they're in.
I've noticed him say weird things like, I want to go to sleep but never wake up, or it'd be easier if I wasn't here.
A lot of people who are under stress will do things to try to cope with the pain that they're in. What could Eric have done to help himself through some of those tough times?
He could have just talked to me or someone else. He could have even let it out during practice, just not this.
Sometimes it's hard to keep it all inside and we need to get it out, and there are positive ways of getting these things out.
Well, what can I do to help him?
If you or someone you know needs help, there are several things that you can do. In addition to being supportive, you can stay with the person, listen, really listen, and get help.
1,000 teens in Fresno County have used self-mutilation to cope with an overwhelming feeling. 10,000 teens in Fresno County have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder.
This is an anxiety support group. It's a safe place for us to talk about our concerns, hopefully learn from each other. My name is Chris. I'll be the group facilitator for today, and I see we have 2 new members to the group, so I'll go over some guidelines. First of all, we respect confidentiality of group members. What we hear in here stays here. The purpose of the group is support, not therapy. We'll start over here. Do you want to tell the group your name and why you're here today?
I'm Greg, and this is Gabriella. My stepbrother tried to kill himself, and I've been cutting to relieve my stress.
Can anyone think of any other ways that Greg can deal with stress instead of cutting on himself?
Yeah, I know. I can relate to you. My uncle committed suicide, a few months back, and you forget how to cope. But I went to journaling and music, and you can go into that. Maybe that'll help you.
Gabriella, have you been dealing with your best friend trying to kill himself?
Well, I was really, really worried about him when I found out what happened. He's been my best friend since we were little, and I don't think I could handle it if he died. It's too much for me.
When you start feeling overwhelmed, you can take deep breaths and try to relax. Once you start, try to talk to someone about it, it's really the most important part of trying to get through something as difficult as this.
Well, as you both can see, you're not alone. It may be a little scary and you may seem lost at this time, but just remember you're not alone, and I'm proud of both of you for coming in here and talking with us today.
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in the U.S. for 15 to 24-year-olds.
Welcome back, Eric.
Who are you? Where am I?
You're in the hospital. The ambulance dropped you off here 15 minutes after you were pulled from the lake.
Oh.
I'm Dr. Gorski. I'm a psychotherapist here at the hospital. I work with teenagers with attempted suicide.
How do you know I tried? It could have been an accident, you know.
Eric, you wrote something in your journal. I'd like to talk to you about what happened that day.
No one can help me. No one understands what I'm going through.
Are you sure about that?
No one has a dad like mine.
You're right about that, but we all have conflicts that are painful.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Talk about painful and difficult conflicts is helpful. As a counselor here, I talk with a lot of adolescents about their attempts at suicide. It's hard to ask for help, but you've made the first step by talking to me. It takes courage to ask for help.
Yeah, it's tough.
We can talk more about what happened, Eric. If you like, are you open to that?
Sure.
Let's set up a time so we can meet and talk later.
Thanks.
Do you know teens who are overly stressed, anxious, depressed, isolated, cutting, abusing drugs or alcohol, acting out of anger, or suicidal? Tell them you care. You can help them by getting treatment. Guide them to a trusted adult at school or in the community.